Welcome to Godot Unscripted, a podcast of the Godot ecosystem. Tonight, or today, I'm really not sure when this is being listened to, but we have another special guest here. A fan of JRPGs, visual novels, and all things more. We have a member of Tsuku Mogami Software, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who's currently creating Dice and Goblins, an upcoming game on Steam whose demo is already out. And with Steam Next Fest approaching, the time is nigh to try this game out. It's a turn-based RPG, log strategy, and all things cute. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yeah.
You're selling the game very well.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I love how it looks, but let's not jump too far ahead into our topics. I wanted to ask you first, was that intro art accurate? Am I missing something?
No, it's very accurate. Yeah, it's a relaxed game, but also there is some danger. The world is a bit dark. You fight monster, you throw dice. I designed the whole game so it can be played in short session, but it should be around 10 hours or 20 long, depending on how good you are at the game. So, yeah.
That's pretty good, actually, for a first-time indie game, since a lot of them were like 1-2 hours at the beginning.
Well, I did some game jam before, and yeah, it's a pretty long game. I wanted originally to make a 6-hour game, since I wanted it to be my first commercial project.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, let's make the game in 3 months. Just 2 hours, we sell it, we fail very fast, and then we make something else. And then it's been 2 years.
Holy, 2 years, about 1 year. That's crazy.
Well, I started 2 years ago, I was still working, and I've been serious about it since, I think, December 2023, so
Nice.
yeah, it's a year and a half now.
So you quit your full-time job to work on this game?
Yeah. I did all the things that people say, don't do this. I did it.
Yeah,
I was working in tech, doing web development, and I didn't know how to make games. I was just playing with Godot because I wanted to make just games. And at some point I felt like I just wanted to do that and not do something else. And it's not easy. Like it has been honestly quite hard to learn. You have to learn a lot of things, but it's very rewarding mentally compared to what I was doing before. So I'm very happy about it.
Nice. You're living the dream, actually. That would be my dream. Just quit work and start working on your own game to release commercially. So mad respect for that.
Well, I was quite lucky to have put a lot of money in in my savings and have partners that support me. Yeah.
Let's jump back in time to the day you fell in love with games. What was the day like, and what game was it?
Oh, when I was a kid, I was very fascinated by games, but we didn't have a lot of money, so I would play at people's place. But when I was 6, my grandmother gifted me a Super Nintendo. And I not sure I understood what it was at the time, but then I was really falling in love, and it was a Super Nintendo with all the Super Marios in it, Super Mario All-Stars.
Yeah.
So I was really into it, and then I continued to play and stuff like this. I didn't want to make a career in game dev at the time because I was a kid and people were saying, "Oh yeah, it's not serious."
Yeah.
So I didn't want also to pass as a nerd. So I went to do studies of biology.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing a PhD in biology, and one day
PhD. Oh my god.
Yeah. And one day I just stopped because I was doing this fun stuff that is on Reddit called roguelike dev. They do a roguelike in one summer, in some weeks. And it's every year, and I didn't know programming at the time, so I just followed that. And then I started to like programming, and I liked it so much that I dropped my PhD to go program for clinical trials and then other stuff. So it was very funny, but at the time I was still like, no, video games are not serious, you can't do that,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. It took me some years to understand that sometimes you don't need to be serious. You need to just do what you want.
Exactly. Life is to be enjoyed, right? Well, we were taking this thing way too seriously.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I have several questions now. The first one is, what was your PhD in biology about?
I was working in diabetes and hormonology, so we were working on a trial to see if, well, it's been 10 years nearly now, so it was a trial to check if fibers could affect microbiota in obese patients.
Yeah.
And we were just giving them a diet rich in fibers to see if they would lose weight more. It was quite interesting, actually, but I just preferred programming.
And then, without like studying or anything, I mean, like an official career path, you did it on your own, learning web dev, and then you went to the web dev world, just like that.
Yeah. Well, I went into a transitory period where I was programming for clinical trial. So I could enter, like I say, I totally know clinical trial. I was doing one. Just let me in. And yep.
That's so crazy. And I'm trying to think of like where to take this conversation. I think the best path is when did you start designing and creating games once you learned programming? You mentioned this roguelike summer, and after this, what came next?
After this, I think what came next was a lot of unfinished project, like a lot.
Oh no.
I didn't touch much. I was like playing, doing little games in Python with the arcade library, which is a very small library where you can make 2D games. I really like it. It's simple. But yeah, it was in the back of my mind. And then I started with Godot because it was open source and there was capabilities that were bigger than what I could do before. I tried making many failed prototypes, I would say. And then at that time I fell in love with a type of game called dungeon crawlers, which is this old type of game, like they are grid based, like Wizardry, Legend of Grimrock, and this kind of thing. And I get really into it, and I wanted to make games with it. And it just started to click, and I would make join the game jam and make one and just make prototype, and they would work. And I don't know, it was more the game that got me into it than I don't know to answer that question, sorry.
All good. No, that's pretty good. And you say there's a lot of unfinished projects. What % of those projects made it out there, for example, on H.io?
I don't know. Not even 5%. I would say.
Oh my god!
But sometimes you have an idea, you play around it like 2 evenings, and you drop it because I don't know. Sometimes you work it for weeks, and you have to make content for it, and then you stop.
Yeah, exactly. That's the part. You create the systems. You're like, oh, let's solve problems, and then when you have to actually create content, you're like, man, fuck this. This is not.
Yeah. So finally, what worked with me was finding the type of game I wanted to create content for, rather than it's hard to make games. It was hard to make content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see the love for dungeon crawlers. Just looking at your h.io page, you have Duat, Cosmic Delusion, and Proto Goblin Dungeon, right? And they have elements
Yeah.
of novels as well in them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this visual novel is it's very funny. I made this using I think 2 or 3 years ago. When I started to be very trendy, and I was like, yeah, you can. People say you can make a game with it. Let's see how that perform. And then I made something like this, and it was horrible because I was using only AI, and it had no artistic coherence or anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted it to be like a sort of here's what you should not do. But then when I showed it, I seen people like, oh yeah, I would play that, and I was like, what?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. It was very weird. It's not my best project, but it was a project.
Yeah, but we're always the most self-critical of ourselves. So it feels nice when we get those. Yeah, I'm interested. I like this. And you're like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, I have a tangential question as well. I see Proto Goblin Dungeon and the game you're releasing is Dice and Goblins. Why goblins? What do you What do you love goblins?
Oh, it just I think I like a lot. How I don't find the word in English. It's when you have a hero and you have the people that lose all the time. Oh yeah, I like the challenges a lot, and I think goblins are very like this. The enemy in JRPG, like the slime that just get bashed all the time, and I feel like they should have their moment to shine.
Yes. I'm just thinking of Goblin Slayer. And
Yeah.
have you seen this yet?
Yeah.
Like, no, they need to succeed now. Oh. I also wanted to ask, I see you're part of, oh my God, let me try to pronounce this again. Tsuku Mogami software? I hope I'm saying that right. And so you're making a game right now together, but you also made a portfolio management software.
Yeah. So I'm working on this company is created by me and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And we work on a lot of things, and she's really liking stock and finance. It's like she reads books like this and stuff. So she made this mostly.
Yeah.
But she also helped me on my game, so it's very fun.
Okay, I thought it was a company that both makes games and, I don't know, investment banking software. Like, that's crazy.
Well, yeah. I think we should make a game next with like merchants and investments. It could be very funny.
That would be dope as shit. And with goblins, oh my God, imagine investing. I think that would be fantastic. And so then I would follow up with the question, out of curiosity, why are you creating this game under the same company? You say it's mostly you, but she sometimes helps you out?
Oh, so when I say it's mostly me, it's like we work together. And now at first I was working alone on this project, and she was working on the portfolio app. But then when the game started to gain traction, we went working both on this, and she helped me like she did some features, debug. She did also some game design, designing all the abilities in the game. It was originally my project, but we are working together. So it's not like the solo dev story that you hear. And even with that, I have friends that help me with the translation. We hired translators. Someone made the key art for me. Someone is making a trailer for me. Like, yeah, it's not really solo anymore when you're like working with so many people.
Yeah, it might not be solo, but it's the indie dev dream, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, tell me about this community that supports you. How did this start, and how do you help each other out?
Oh, it's mostly just people that I talk with, either on a daily basis from time to time.
Right.
Just natural stuff. It's not, yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned the game started to gain traction. Can you tell me how that process went? Was it because of wish lists? Was it because of comments and messages? How did you know, like, it's happening?
Hmm. Well, there is wish list, of course, and there is like we have a certain number, and it will be okay. But um, yeah, just at some point, we started to get recognition. We started to see articles talking about the game, people asking us about it, and yeah, it just happened very gradually. So it's very hard to answer this question, to be honest,
No, no, that's
because it was
perfect.
such as the project went more serious. It started to gain also importance in the real world, and the real world it was like a sort of feedback loop.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right, now let's actually talk about the game. I want to ask you where the idea came from and how you knew, okay, this is going to be my first commercial project.
Haha. So the idea of the game was I had the idea for a long time, and I could not. I wanted to make a dice game because I feel like dice games are underrepresented in video games. Like card games, it's stuff that you can understand very well because everyone has played with dice in their life. You know it works. And in the board game space, there is a lot of dice games that are really interesting, where you build a pool of dice, where you do sort of dice building, where you change the face of the dice. It's really a center element of board games that I was very surprised that after the success of Slay the Spire, there was not a lot of dice game except Dicey Dungeons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then in the recent year, a lot of games with dice are starting to release. It's very fun to see that everyone felt the same. So I wanted to make this game like, mechanically. I wanted to make a game with dice, and then the dungeon was just stuff I liked, video games I like. So I just combined the two.
Oh, my God. And then, yeah, I'm just wondering, you mentioned Slay the Spire, Dicey Dungeons. How did your process for designing the game and creating the world look like?
Again, it's something that just happened. The art style is me drawing the stuff, and I'm not. When I started this project, I didn't know how to draw. I didn't know how to make games. I didn't know how to do anything. So the art style that you see is more like me playing with my limitation than being a full-minded choice. Of course, I like Paper Mario, but also I didn't feel like I could make a super good illustration with a lot of details. And as an indie developer, I don't have time or money to do this. So it's really
plus one.
Yeah, playing with my strength.
I mean, that's what gives the game its charm, right? That's why it caught my eye as well. Because of this.
Yeah, I played a lot of indie game, also in the Japanese indie games like doujin games and like very raw type of game where
Mm.
sometimes they would make RPG with very limited assets, like on RPG Maker with only the stock RPG Maker, and they would make very interesting stories and very exciting gameplay still. And I'm very, very impressed by this type of games that can do so much with so little.
Mm.
I think that's a real skill. So inspired by that, I wanted to make something small also, but I didn't. I didn't manage to have it as constrained. It's a real skill. It's a beauty.
Yeah, I mean, you could always constrain it more if you want, but it's true what they say, right? Create a constraint breeds creativity,
Yeah,
and not
it
only
does.
in games but in all fields. You see it everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into, I wouldn't say the meat, but tell me what preparing for the demo and the demo release was like. How does your timeline look like? And how does that make you feel?
So I think that the first prototypes that I started showing to people was in September 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And the game was really horrible at the moment, and I really could not get feedback because it was just clunky and ugly, so people could not engage with the gameplay. It was very hard to get feedback, so it was me learning to talk to people to get the feedback that I thought I wanted about one thing in particular. And then am I mixing my ideas? No. I worked on the demo until October 2024. And then I released it on Steam, and I got even more feedback that I just processed. It was very hard also because it was the first time that I got feedback as an artist and not as a art developer or scientist. When you're doing web dev or science, you say, something not work. Okay, let's fix it. Or there is ego in it, but it's not the same that this is ugly or this is so I had to process it, like someone saying, this game is bad, I don't want to play it. You take it much harder, but it was a learning process, and you also learn to take the good thing, of course. It's nice.
That's the thing, right? Like, as a developer, there's empirical or objective evidence why something needs to be changed or why it's not right. But then from the artist side, a lot of this stuff is subjective, but the question is, like, who are you catering to? And that can always change. There's a lot of wiggle room, but that's good and bad. The ambiguity of it just gets to you.
I agree.
Yeah. And then getting to actually release the demo, how did you prepare for that?
Releasing, I still have a lot of work to do. We aim to release hopefully at the end of March. That's what we want. We didn't announce the release date yet. We want to see what the Steam Next Fest feedback will be, because probably more people will play it, and we will have different type of feedback that we had before.
Yeah.
But getting the game working and getting the game to be released is very, very difficult. There is a lot to do, and my only method was grit. I wake up in the morning and then I start on it, even if I don't want to or if I'm not inspired. And if you do that long enough, it just happens.
And That's the crazy part, right?
Yeah,
If you work, if you work for a company, you can just be like, man, I'm gonna be not productive today, and it's all good. You're still gonna get paid, probably, maybe, hopefully. But when you're an indie game developer, no matter how you feel, the question is, am I doing enough? I could be doing more.
yeah, you have to limit yourself sometimes so as to not, work until 11 in the in the evening.
Absolutely.
It's certainly something that you have to learn to pace yourself. But yeah, I prefer to overwork for myself than to overwork for someone else.
Exactly. What has it been like so far in terms of challenges? What's the biggest challenge you faced up to this point? Can be not only from skills, but also like mentally.
Um, well, I feel like learning everything about video game was very difficult. Like learning to use the engine and learning to use anything. There is a vocabulary you have to learn. There is a lot of skills to pick up.
Yeah.
It's very obscure and you fuck up a lot. But it's something that you can tackle eventually. Right now, we're like trying to tackle marketing and selling the game and navigating that space. It's much, much more obscure. And yeah, it's difficult. Navigating social media, knowing who to talk to. This has been the biggest challenge, I would say. Like, yeah, and not making the game, like everything that is around making the game is difficult.
Yeah.
For
To
me,
me,
at
that's
least.
no. I absolutely understand it. I just find it funny that you, like being a programmer before, said that that was like the most difficult, or was the first difficult thing you mentioned, the programming aspect. But in the marketing department, I agree with you, right? There's articles, blogs, opinion pieces, like other developers will give you their 2 cents. But it's not only doing everything right, it's also getting lucky. And getting lucky, it's not a science.
Yeah, it's very difficult because sometimes people analyze success and sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's not luck. Sometimes they analyze success and take the wrong conclusion out of it. So it's very. Everyone is saying something and everyone is saying another thing. It's really hard to make sense from my standpoint. Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. And are you thinking of releasing this game in early access and providing constant support, or will it be a one and done type of thing?
No, it's not gonna be one and done. I will probably make some updates, but it's not an early access. You will be able to play the game from start to finish. Yeah. I didn't want to do early access because you have to finally release much earlier and give much more. You have to give yourself a lot to your community, and I felt like, yeah, just like make the game for now, and maybe my next game will be early access.
Let's go. I'm hyped. There's something else I wanted to ask, but I'm currently blanking out. My brain. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you. Now that you've used Godot for a good long while, what are your favorite parts about it, and also least favorite?
Um, mm, my favorite part about it is really a central part is like the node system. So it's very good because as a programmer, at all time you're seeing what your programs look like in terms of components. And I found that it was really a joy to work with it and program with it because it it gives you tools to make good software from the start. I really love it. I really love the tree. I like using event-based signals and stuff like this. Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
My least favorite part of Godot would be I'm making a 3D game, and I don't know a lot about 3D, and it was very obscure in Godot to know when a problem was coming from the engine or a problem was coming from me doing something bad. It might be more obvious to more experienced users and people that are used to make games in 3D, but for me it was very difficult to debug what's happening on lower end hardware. Yeah, it's very black box to me.
Same. There's so many options, and I'm just so dumb when it comes to 3D. I just try to find guides, and if there's not a guide, I just like throw my hands up in the air.
Yeah. I understand. There's people that are like, oh yeah, 2D is like 3D, you just add a dimension. And I'm like, no,
brother.
there's so much more problems.
Especially with like graphics and textures. Shaders. It's like,
you have to model them. Yeah, it's just so much work.
Not to discourage anyone who's listening to this, please go ahead and try 3D. Advance the engine. Be the future we need in Godot.
Yeah.
There was another thing. I want to ask you how you feel about your journey so far, from when you started developing games to now. How do you feel?
I made a lot of mistakes. I'm taking a lot of time to do stuff that should be simple. It's normal when you're learning. I feel good about the journey because I don't think you can skip on these mistakes. Sometimes you have to, you really have to make errors and mistakes to be able to learn. If you don't pay the price, you're not learning that it's bad. I don't know how to say it. What has been very frustrating with game development is that it takes a long time to make something pretty and that people like. And during this time, you have maybe ideas for 10 or 15 other games, and you can't make them. This is so frustrating. You're making a game, but you can't make other games that you want to make. That's the most funny part of the journey.
I agree with that. But that's super nice to hear. I'm also happy that, I also tried doing drawing for a time. Oh my God, the skills to improve it. I admire artists every day more and more.
Yeah.
So kudos to you as well. Artist, programmer, and everything like that. There is one last question I would like to ask. And that one is, what advice would you like to give those out there that are using Godot or developing games?
Well, my advice would be doing what I preach. Try to make the game work gladly. Don't worry if you do mistakes. You will do mistakes. Don't try to make the perfect game or the perfect architecture or say this. If I don't code this right, it will break in the future. Or if I don't draw this right, it will be ugly in the future and I will have to redo everything. No, you just make a game. It's just advice. Sometimes you have to be reckless in order to advance.
That's fair enough. Perfect. And that's a great note to end the podcast on. Please plug in your stuff. Where can we follow you? Where can we support you? Where can we throw money at you?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. I just blanked.
All good, all good. I'll repeat it. That's a perfect note to end the podcast on. So, where can we follow you? Where can we support you? Where can we throw money at you?
Oh, well, just wishlist my game. That is really the most nice thing you could do at the moment. And then buy it if you like it when it's released. You can also follow me on Blue Sky or go in the Discord server of the Dice and Goblins community. It's fun. But yeah, mostly wishlist the game.
Wishlisted. You heard it here, everyone. All right, then. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to everyone who stopped by to listen today. This was Godot Unscripted. Cue free.